Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Joining me today for her annual property tax update. It's Misty Dodge, your finance director for the city of Fitchburg. Misty, welcome back to the show. How are you doing today?
Doing good. Thanks for having me, Jeremy.
Thank you for being back on here and going through this. I may now recognizing how I understand how this form works. Kidding. I'm a homeowner. I've got some knowledge. She really knows that I need help all the way. So, but that's besides the point. Misty, first and foremost, tax bills go out.
They went out Friday. So Friday, December 10th was when they were mailed. My guess is they'll get mailed over the weekend and they probably will hit mailboxes either Monday or Tuesday.
And if somebody thinks they didn't get it, what can they do? So they're watching this, they're like, wait, what?
Yeah, so all of the tax bills are available on Access Stain. It's the website sponsored through the county. You can look up your property by your name, by your address, or your key number if you have it. And then it'll show you all of the information for your property. And there's a link to get the tax bill. So you'll be able to get one through there as well.
Perfect. And what we're going to do on this interview is we're going to talk specifically about what is on your tax bill and clarify the numbers for you, help you understand it a little bit better. And really, I don't see too many changes, but I may be talking out of line. So we'll find out together here what's going on. But first, starting at number one, and I love how you label this for us each and every year. It gives me an easy way to direct us through this. So what do we got at the top?
Yeah, so number one is your bill number. So this bill number does change every year. This bill number is important. If you pay through your bank with an online payment, we'll want to know what that bill number is. If you write a check, it's also helpful for us as a double check to put that bill number in the memo line of the check. But again, it changes every year. So make sure you're looking for the right one.
Gotcha. Well, that'd be a good way to make sure you got the right tax bill here, certainly. All right, number two is looking at the total assessed value.
Yeah, so number two, number three, and number four are actually all related. So number two is your property's assessed value. 310,000 is actually the average home's assessed value. So I thought this was a great bill to talk about today. And then that value is set by the city assessor. It was a maintenance assessment year this year. So for most bills, that value stayed the same from last year to this year. Exceptions being if there was an error that was discovered or done through board of review, if you added something to your property, if it was a new property, something like that, then obviously that amount would change. But if everything with your property was the exact same as last year, for the this assessed value should be the same. What's different though is that estimated fair market value. We all know the market has changed in the last year, even if we haven't changed our assessments. So the state looks at our total assessed value and our total equalized value, and it creates this ratio. That's box number 3. So usually, because we would do a reval every year, but this year we didn't. So usually we'd be right around 100%. This year we're at that 96%. So we're lagging the market a little bit now, but we'll true that back up. And it's still uniform across all of the properties. So then to get to that estimated fair market value, we take your assessed value divided by that assessment ratio to get the estimated fair market value. So 2 divided by 3 equals number 4.
Fantastic. Moving on to box number 5, net assessed value rate.
Yeah, so that assessed value is the value that we use to calculate the taxes for each property. And so we take that assessed value, divide it by 1,000, and multiply it by the assessed value tax rate. So for this year, and this is a Madison school district bill, so there'll be nuances or differences depending on which school district your property is in. But for the Madison school district, the overall tax rate was $21.96 per $1,000 of assessed value. So that's what that box 5 is.
All right, perfect. Moving down then to number 6, and this gets interesting.
Yeah, so number 6 isn't down there. So past years, I have talked about how there was a line for the state of Wisconsin that was at 0. It's been at 0 for the past 4 or 5 years. They finally just took that 0 line off. So this year, number 6 isn't on there anymore.
Trick question on Jeremy's part. All right, 7 and 8, moving right along. First dollar credit and lottery and gaming credit.
Yeah, actually, I'd like to back up for a moment. So the city of Fitchburg, you'll see, even though the state's not on here, there's still Dane County, city of Fitchburg, Madison School District, and the Tech College. And so you can see in that column where there's the purple bar that says about a third, the city of Fitchburg's piece of the tax bill that we collect, that the city of Fitchburg uses for our operations, is actually only about a third of the total tax bill. And then the next purple bar, so the total tax bill, the 680616, to get to that, that's what we talked about earlier, where it's the assessed value number 2 times the rate number 5 to get to that total tax bill. So then once we know what your taxes are, there are 2 credits that most residential properties will have. The first one is number 7, which is the first dollar credit. That credit is applied automatically to any property that has improvements. So that one, if you're eligible, you will just get it. Number 8, however, people need to watch their bills for this one. So the lottery credit only applies if it was your primary residence as of the first of the year. So if your property was your primary residence as of January 1st, 2021, and that amount there is blank, make sure you reach out to the city. We will help get you the form that you need to fill out in order to get that lottery credit. And it's quite a bit of a hike this year. So last year, you can see in the Madison School District, it was just shy of $200. This year, it's over $300. And with all of the new properties that are being built, the new homes, I hope that everybody looks at their bill and make sure that if you're eligible, you have that lottery credit.
Yeah, it's easy money. That's the way I like to call it, but I know you would never call it that. But we'll move on to box number 9 on the net property tax and trash pickup.
Yeah, so in that section there is where all of the special assessments and special charges will be located. So this property has trash pickup charge. So all residential single family and duplexes will have that trash pickup amount. It's $215 this year. It was $209 last year. So it is a bit of an increase, but reasonable based on the additional costs that we're incurring. Other things that might show up in that box would be if you have any special assessments for curb and gutter or streets or water, additional services that were in there. Also, if there's delinquent utilities, those amounts will show up in that box.
And then that does that total out there at the bottom?
It does, yep.
Fantastic. All right, moving over to number 10 and number 11. Very important information here.
Yeah, so a lot of people choose to pay their property tax bill by the end of the calendar year for income tax purposes. But as far as the property tax bill is concerned, it's not due until January 31st. And people have the choice to pay it either in full by January 31st or at least the minimum first installment amount. Those amounts would all come to the city of Fitchburg through January 31st. Any payments after that would go to the county instead. And I will note that we do accept postmarks for 5 days. So if you want to pay by December 31st, we will accept that postmark. We will, as a courtesy, backdate it to 2021, even though, again, it's not due at that point. Or if we get mail in that 5 days after, or I guess any mail that we receive after January 31st, we forward that on to the county and they would apply it. If it was postmarked January 31st, they will make sure it's shown as timely. But the address for the county is on the bill too.
Fantastic. Good information to know. Finally, moving down to box number 12 on this page, and it says the taxing jurisdiction. Explain what that means.
So all of our school districts at this point have a referendum that is a non-recurring or is a recurring referendum. So this bill, again, is a Madison School District bill. This information here in this part is relatively new, but I like it because it shows the different non-recurring or non-perpetuity referendums that were approved, and then how much of your specific bill goes to pay that referendum and when that ends. So to look for the first one, so the city of Fitchburg's total portion of the first referendum passed by the Madison School District that will end at some point is that 227 amount. And the amount that this particular bill paid towards that is that $40. And then you can see the same amount for the second referendum that would be reported for that school district. And again, these are only for referendums that will end at some point. So if a referendum was approved, say for staffing, and it's perpetual, it will always be there, that information won't show up here. These are just the ones that are going to end.
Awesome. And that shows that end there does show the year that that it will finish out at. All right, bottom page here of this, we have it broken down into two, and this is probably the part that you deliver. If I was gonna guess, but check 13, check for billing address change.
Yeah, so this is the stub that's shown at the bottom of the bill. If you're mailing your bill in or if you're paying in person, we'd really appreciate if you included that stub. It's just another way for us to make sure we apply the payment to the appropriate parcel. I wanted to point out number 13 though. So if you do have a billing address change, that is something the city can take care of for you. So you'll check that box and then note what your new billing address is. So this would apply if you're moving or if you temporarily go to somewhere warm, for example, and want your bill to be mailed there instead of your place in Wisconsin. Billing addresses we can change. If you want to change your owner, it's like it's a different name or any of those types of things, that actually has to go through the county, through the Register of Deeds, but the billing address we can change.
All right. Well, that was easy, right? Not too much trouble per se. If you're still wondering, like, okay, this was a lot of information thrown at you. I bet you there's a place, and Misty Dodge has a lot of tricks up her sleeves. I bet you there's a place you can find more information on this. How can we find that on the website?
Yes, so this is the city's website. There's actually a quick link down here towards the bottom for the property tax frequently asked questions. We try to put out all of our information on the website so people can have access to it. Of course, feel free to give us a call or email us, and we're happy to answer questions that way too. And we just want to make sure as much information is available to people as possible. So this is the city's tax page. It talks about a variety of different things. It does have that lottery credit form. So if you notice your bill qualifies, but it doesn't have the lottery credit, here's the form that you'll need to fill out. And that talks about all the same stuff that we talked about before, and that's included on our insert. And actually, every property tax bill will get a tax insert too, the same one we send out every year. And here's a link to it on the form as well, if you'd like to see it.
Yeah, it's an easy to use form and answers a lot of the good questions that you might have. And we'll have a separate interview that actually goes through a form that's shipped out with the tax bill and is on the website to help you navigate that. Misty, thank you so much for your time going through this. We appreciate it as always. We'll check back in with you soon.
Thank you so much.
You bet. We'll take a quick break. More to come. You're watching Talking Fitchburg.